Saturday marks 49 years since the Supreme Court handed down the historic decision of Roe v. Wade. The landmark decision protects a woman's ability to choose to have an abortion without excessive government restriction. In a joint statement with Vice President Harris about Roe v. Wade, President Biden says, quote, "It is a right we believe should be codified into law, and we pledge to defend it with every tool we possess." But not all Americans agree. Thousands of people gathered in the nation's capital for the 49th annual March for Life protest Friday. There's a growing sentiment among the protesters that it could be the last march before Roe v. Wade is possibly overturned. CBS News Chief Legal Correspondent Jan Crawford has more.
With signs and hope, thousands, mostly young people, came to March for Life.
The kids don't get to choose life, and we're here for them to march for the people that couldn't speak up.
They came with church groups on buses from Florida to Oklahoma.
It took about 24 hours.
Braving freezing temperatures in the 49th annual march to the Supreme Court, with the most momentum yet in their fight to overturn Roe v. Wade.
Roe is not settled law.
Is there a different energy here with the Mississippi case pending?
Absolutely. Pro-lifers are very energized with the possibility of Roe being overturned, which would mean that then the abortion legislation would go back to the states.
The conservative Supreme Court signaled during arguments last month it would allow Mississippi's 15-week abortion ban and possibly let states ban it entirely. Shannon Brewer is director of Mississippi's only abortion clinic.
They would definitely ban abortion in Mississippi immediately. Yes, and several of other states too.
Mississippi is one of 12 states with laws already in place to ban abortion if the court overturns Roe. More than a dozen others are likely to follow suit or impose severe restrictions. Some would be 6-week bans, like the law now being challenged in Texas, which the court has allowed to remain in place. Dissenting Justice Sonia Sotomayor said it was a grave disservice to women in Texas who have a right to control their own bodies.
But predicting how the Supreme Court is going to rule is always dangerous. Justices can change their minds, so we won't know until we get a decision, probably in June, whether this will be the last time they're marching to overturn Roe. Jan Crawford, CBS News, the Supreme Court.
For more on this, I want to bring in Carol Sanger. She is the Barbara Ehrenstein Black Professor of Law at Columbia Law School. She's also the author of About Abortion, Terminating Pregnancy in the 21st Century America. Carol, welcome. How close do you think we are to that possibility of seeing a reversal of Roe versus Wade?
I think we're closer than anyone imagined 49 years ago that this could happen in sort of a generation and a half. They may overturn Roe completely, which is what the state of Mississippi has directly asked the court to do, and or they may just turn it back to the states for the states to decide what the point of what the time limit is on when abortions can be legal. So we have two justices who are willing to say all abortion should be illegal. That's the end of that. Others are more likely to say to the states, it's up to you. You decide. And we see how states decide by looking at Texas, which has in effect now, I mean, it's actually in effect, a law that bans abortion at 6 weeks, which is very premature in terms of a pregnancy, in terms of a woman even knowing that she's pregnant.
So what would you say are the differences between the pro-life movement from the time of the Roe versus Wade ruling to now?
One of the problems has been that the pro-life movement has captured the vocabulary and the rhetoric, and it's really rather brilliant. So they have the phrase pro-life, which means prenatal life. It doesn't apply to things like the death penalty or other cases of the state taking lives, but whereas the pro-choice side has pro-choice, and pro-choice doesn't quite capture. Pro-choice has been accused of being a phrase that means it's like a consumer choice. You want an abortion, go get an abortion, rather than this is a decision about the workings of a woman's own body that is so intimate and private that she alone should be able to make it, which is what the court said in Roe v. Wade. So there's that, the battle of rhetoric. There's also the growing affection for fetuses, largely through ultrasound, so that everybody knows and probably has fond feelings for someone's unborn fetus. You get them on baby shower announcements. You see them on people's refrigerators, and that too has been part of the social advantage of the anti-abortion side, making the fetus a member of the family now, which is quite true in wanted pregnancies and something else in unwanted pregnancies.
So tell us what precedent the Texas ruling might set, Carol.
Well, the Texas ruling, I doubt, is going to come before the Mississippi ruling. I think that SB 8, it looks like the court doesn't have to, well, we know that the ruling in Mississippi, which is a 15-week ban, is going to come in June or possibly late May, but it's not going to come till the end of the term because they want to decide it, announce it, and get out of town. And there's no need for them really to decide the Texas case now. So right now the Texas case is at the Texas Supreme Court, and it's jumping around from between federal and state courts. But I don't think the Supreme Court will take it back again until after they decide the Mississippi case.
All right, Carol Sanger, thank you.
You're welcome.